Hey there, welcome back to my kitchen. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. This week I did not go to the grocery store. I am really trying to use up everything that is in my freezer and my refrigerator because we are moving in about a month and I'm not going to be able to take anything cold with me since the drive is so long. So I decided this week we're doing some pantry meals and we're going to use up as much as we possibly can. So let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you what I made this week. First up today, we're going to make some baked chili cheese dogs. To begin, I'm just going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 375 degrees. Then moving over here to my cutting board, I'm going to chop up half of a yellow onion. Next, you'll be needing a 9x13 casserole dish and 1 pack of hot dog buns. With these buns, I'm just going to go ahead and open them all up and set them in here. Then into each one of these, I'm going to add 1 hot dog. You can use sausages or any type of hot dog that you like. Next, you can take 1 can of chili or 1 can of hot dog sauce and you'll just add that onto each one. If you do have picky eaters, you can leave some of these plain and just add cheese on them later. Now that all the chili is on here, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle with cheese. You can use any type of cheese that you like. Today I'm using a medium cheddar and I'm going to add that on there pretty heavily. And now just taking those onions that we chopped up earlier, I'm going to sprinkle the onions on here as well. Again, if you have picky eaters, then just leave the onion off. Now those are going in the oven to bake for about 15 to 20 minutes until the cheese is nicely melted over the top just like this. Here's what our plates looked like on this night. I asked my husband what he wanted with this and he said French fries, so I just made some potato wedges on the side there. I don't know why, but making chili cheese dogs this way, they just taste so much better. I don't know what it is about it, but I definitely prefer to make them this way now rather than any other way. Next up, it was just me this night, so I made a chicken sausage and veggie orzo. For this one, I went ahead and chopped up half of a red bell pepper, half of a yellow onion, and 1 small head of broccoli. I did have to cut a couple pieces off of this broccoli just because I bought it the week before and didn't end up using it, so it did have a couple bad spots. For the broccoli, I'm just going to cut those up into smaller bite-sized pieces. Then you'll be needing 2 chicken sausages. On this day, I was using a Chipotle and Monterey Jack cheese chicken sausage. For these, I'm just going to slice them up, and once they're sliced up, I'm going to add them into a big pot with just a little bit of avocado oil. I'm going to let these chicken sausages cook in here for about 5 to 6 minutes until they have some really good color on them. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and remove those out of my pan into a separate bowl, but into the same pan, we're actually going to add in the onion, bell pepper, half a cup of shredded carrots, half a cup of chopped up celery. Mine was frozen, that's why it's in a big chunk like that. Just let those cook in there for about 5 to 7 minutes until they get a little color on them and soften up a bit. Next, add in 2 teaspoons of minced garlic and let that cook for an additional 30 seconds. Then you'll add in 2 cups of low sodium chicken broth, 1 cup of orzo, the broccoli florets, and a little bit of salt. I'm going to start with about a half a teaspoon. Add a lid to the pot and then you're going to let this simmer on a low to medium heat until all the liquid has disappeared from the pan. I did remove my lid every once in a while to stir this just to make sure the orzo was not sticking to the bottom. And if you end up getting to the point where there is no liquid left, and the orzo is still a little bit chewy, then I would just add a little bit more water. I would start with about 1/4 cup at a time until your orzo is fully cooked. Once the orzo is soft, go ahead and add in 1/2 cup of half and half, your chicken sausage, and 1 to 1.5 cups of shredded mild cheddar cheese. I believe on this day I was using a medium cheddar, but that's alright, either one will work just fine. Stir this up really well, let everything warm through, and then this is ready to go. Here is what my bowl looked like on this night. I actually really liked this. Like I said, it was just me on this night, but I thought this was so good. It was very filling, helped me use up a lot of vegetables from the fridge, so that was really nice as well, but still really cheesy and definitely hit the spot on this night. Next up, we're going to make a chicken bacon ranch pizza. For this one, I did go ahead and preheat my oven to 400 degrees. And then over here in my skillet, I'm going to go ahead and get some bacon started. For this, I really did not cook a ton of bacon. I only had about 1/2 a pack anyways in the fridge. But I went ahead and just cooked up 3 slices of bacon. I know this looks like 6 pieces, but that is because I like to cut them in half to cook them. They just cook a lot better in the pan this way. Now moving over here to my chicken breast, I'm just using 1 single chicken breast and seasoning that with a little bit of ranch seasoning mix, my favorite all-purpose seasoning, garlic powder, and pepper. I'm just going to repeat those seasonings on both sides of the chicken breast. Now to cook this chicken and make sure it gets a lot of good flavor, I am just going to cook it in the same pan that I made the bacon in. The bacon grease will give this chicken a ton of flavor. That chicken's just going to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes per side until the internal temperature is 165 degrees. Now that the chicken is cooked, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the pizza crust. So I had already prepared this pizza crust earlier in the day and let it rise for a couple hours. I will link this recipe down below for you so you can follow that one if you want to. If not, you can just use any pizza crust. For the sauce on this pizza, I am just going to be using some ranch. I added a couple tablespoons of that and just spread that all around, making sure to leave about 1 inch around the edges. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of mozzarella cheese. I was finishing off 1 bag, so you could add about 1 cup at this point. On top of that mozzarella, then I'm going to add my chopped up chicken breast. Spread the chicken around as even as you can, and then we're going to add on 1/2 of the bacon. Right now I'm only using about 1.5 slices of bacon, just making sure to break them up really small. And then over top of that, I'm going to add a little bit more of mozzarella cheese and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese as well. I stuck this in the oven for about 15 to 18 minutes, and this is what it was looking like when it came out of the oven. Now to finish this pizza off, I'm going to take the rest of the bacon and add it over the top. And just to add some color, I'm going to sprinkle it with some parsley. Here's what the pizza looked like on my plate. This is delicious. You cannot go wrong with chicken bacon ranch in my opinion. It helped me use up the rest of the bacon that I had in the fridge, so that was great as well. And of course I already had everything in the cabinet to make homemade pizza crust, so this turned out to be another successful pantry meal night. Next up, another extremely easy meal. We're going to make these chicken snack wraps. For this, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 400 degrees because that is what the back of the bag of the chicken strip said to do. You'll be needing 1 large chicken strip for each chicken snack wrap that you plan on making. And then to bake these, I'm just going to follow the package directions once again. While those are baking in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and chop up a little bit of some iceberg lettuce. And then once those are all done, you'll just want to add those chicken strips into a tortilla, sprinkle the lettuce on top, then you'll add a little bit of shredded mild cheddar cheese on top of that, followed by some ranch dressing. This dinner, honestly, is so fast and easy. It's extremely low effort. And as you can see there on the side, I just made some potato wedges in the air fryer. And there you have it, another easy meal. Now we're making one of my husband's favorite. We're going to make this stuffed buffalo chicken. For this one, I am going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees. Into this little bowl, I have 4 ounces of cream cheese that I microwaved for about 30 seconds. That way it would be nice and smooth. Then you're going to add in half a package of ranch seasoning mix, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and half a cup of shredded mild cheddar cheese. Get that all mixed together and then set it aside for right now. Then you'll be needing 2 chicken breasts. These are full chicken breasts. I have not sliced them in half like I normally do. For these ones, what we're going to do is just create a little pocket in them. You're going to start almost at the end, but not quite, and you're going to cut about 3/4 of the way through the chicken breast without cutting all the way through at any point. After you get it sliced, you can take your knife and gently go in the center and try to cut it a little bit deeper. The deeper the better, that way there is more room for the filling, but you just want to make sure that you are not going all the way through. Once the chicken is prepared, then go ahead and grab a small baking dish. This is an 8x8 that I'm just spraying down lightly with some avocado spray. Add the chicken into the dish, and then you're going to add half of the cream cheese mixture into each one of the chicken breasts. Spread the cheese mixture all over the inside of the chicken, and then you're going to pull the top part of the chicken breast over as tight as you can and press the edges together just to try to keep the cheese from spilling out. It will spill out a little bit in the oven, but you just want to try to prevent it as much as possible. Now you can go ahead and season your chicken up a little bit, so we're just going to lightly sprinkle the tops with a little bit of pepper and garlic powder. Then you're going to add about a tablespoon of buffalo sauce to each one of the chicken breasts and just spread that all over the top. Add these into the oven and bake for about 30 to 35 minutes until the chicken is cooked all the way through, reaching at least 165 degrees. Add your chicken to your plate and drizzle it with a little bit more buffalo sauce. You'll also want to drizzle a little bit of ranch dressing over the top, or if you prefer, you could do blue cheese, but we are not big fans of blue cheese, so I went ahead and just used the ranch. This recipe does not make a ton of food, however, you could always double it if you have a bigger family. And then on the side here, I just made 1 box of cheesy rice-a-roni rice. Next up, we're making a 3-cheese grilled cheese sandwich. We kept this dinner really light on this night because we went on a breakfast date, so we weren't super hungry. To begin, you'll just want to take some bread. Any bread will work. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some butter onto the bread. This is actually my favorite way to make grilled cheese, is with these 3 cheeses specifically. I'm using 1 slice of mild cheddar cheese, 1 slice of Gouda, and 1 slice of Havarti cheese. If you've never tried any of these cheeses before, you definitely should give them a shot. I really like the way they all taste together, and it comes out being super cheesy and delicious. I am cooking these on my griddle today over a medium heat, and I just let these cook on each side for a minute or 2 until they're getting some really nice color on them, just like this. Here's what they ended up looking like. I like to cut them in half just to make them a little bit easier to eat. They're super gooey and delicious inside, and then on the side, to keep this very light and simple, I just added some strawberries onto my plate. Now we're going to make some beef stroganoff. For this one, I went ahead and just chopped up about 4 to 6 ounces of mushrooms and half of a yellow onion. Moving over to my skillet, I'm adding 1 pound of lean ground beef along with the mushroom and onion all into the skillet at once. And I'm just going to cook this until the ground beef is cooked all the way through. Drain off any grease if needed, and then add in 1 to 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. I let that cook for about 30 seconds to a minute until I could smell it nice and strong, and then I also added in about 1 tablespoon of butter. Mix that around until the butter has melted, and then add in 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Again, stir that up really well, let that flour absorb any grease or butter that is in the skillet, and then you'll just need to let that flour cook for about 2 minutes or so in the skillet. Now I'm adding in 1 cup of beef broth. I'm going to stir this around until I notice it thickening up a little bit. At this point, then I'm going to start adding in some half and half, and I'm going to add in a total of 1.5 cups of half and half. You'll just add a small amount each time, and as you notice it thickening up, then you can add more until you've added in all of the half and half. I am just going to go ahead and season this up with a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Of course, give this a taste and adjust the seasonings as needed. While I was getting this ground beef and sauce ready to go, I was also boiling up 8 ounces of egg noodles. Once those were ready, I went ahead and drained off the water and added it right in here. You will also need to add in a 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of sour cream. It's really up to you. If you like a lot of sour cream, then add a little bit more, but if you just want a little, that's fine. You can just add a little bit in there as well. Here's what it looked like on my plate. I also did make a can of Italian style green beans to go along with this, and some homemade garlic bread just on some regular white bread. This turned out really good. I did not use any type of recipe for this, just kind of made it off of memory. So I will try to type it out as best as I can for you down in the description box, but it did turn out really good. And if I could make it the same way again, I absolutely would. I hope you got some inspiration out of these pantry meals this week. If you made it all the way to the end of today's video, don't forget to leave me a flower down in the comments below to let me know that you did, and I will see you back here on Sunday for a new video. Bye!